Hey guys, we're back with another episode of Venture with Joe and Cody. I'm Joe Skipper, the owner of Skipper Realty Group, as it's named now, and that's Cody Wilhelm with Residential Mortgage. What's up, man? Hey,
I got it.
yeah, the name's a thing. I got to figure
Yeah,
out
when are
what
you
to
gonna
do with that.
reveal that?
I
Have you
don't know, man. We
solidified? I
have
know last
one.
week.
We have one that we're kind of, and I actually registered an LLC for it, but I just don't like. I don't want to just get like down a rabbit hole and kind of feel like that's the one, and then just because you
Yeah,
think it's the one, I wanna kinda
sure.
take a second and
Yeah.
think
We
it
kinda wanna
over.
date
So,
it. Date
I
it a
wanna
little
date it.
bit,
I wanna
kinda
date it a
feel
little
it
bit, see
out,
how it is, like but the kids
introduce it to
still
the
have
family.
buy-in, like, it's yeah, so, I don't
Yeah,
know. It's a big move. I'm trying not to make it such a big move because it hopefully
yeah.
is the permanent move that you never have to do again, and
Mhm.
so, I'm, like, trying not to put so much pressure on it, but it's rebranding and everything is like the lion will
Yeah.
stay. The lion's, like, there, so,
Okay.
it's more of just the name around it, so it's not
Yeah,
the end of the world, so,
right.
um
You know what that reminds me of? Nothing to do with anything, but my, uh, 8-year-old was setting up our oldest, like, he got a new Xbox, and so kind of a hand-me-down Xbox to the little bro, and so I was helping him set up a little account so that he could play one of the games, and, you have to create your username, and the names that he's picking are completely out of the brain of an 8-year-old, right?
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah,
"When you're 15 and you have to keep this account name, like, are you gonna
yeah,
want that?" And he's like, "I don't
yeah,
know," but it reminded me of that, of, like, the moment it's hard to pick a name that you feel like you're gonna be good with for
I
in
know,
2 years, in 10 years, in 20 years, like,
for sure. Yeah, that's
it
funny you say
seems
that
so
because
simple.
I'm trying to think of, like, that on those names, like, I did so when I did the PlayStation with the kids, I picked a username with all of our family in it, and it was Joe, Ro, Ko, Nin, like, Cora,
Nice.
Nina, Joe, Ro, and so it's, like, Joe Rokanen, like and all
Yeah.
of Rory's friends are like, "What is that name? That doesn't even make any sense, blah, blah, blah."
Is your
But
dad like a Joe Rogan fan?
they're like Fuzzy Banana 4532. I'm like, yours
Right.
doesn't make sense either. Stop judging me.
Yes.
Mine has at least some personal like attachment
Mine
to it.
means something,
Like, but they're like, this is such a dumb name. I'm like,
right?
okay, okay. I think like, yeah, Cora's is like Fuzzy Bunny, whatever, whatever. And she was like, that's the
Yeah.
one. I'm like, what?
That's yes.
Okay, okay.
Solid.
So, because the suggestions that those give you are like ridiculous.
But yeah.
Which actually helps you because you don't have to think about it. It just gives you some funny name or whatever that you can
Huh?
kind of pick. But
You
it
start
it
to play
is
around with
funny.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I
yeah, the
know.
name's coming, I don't know, hopefully soon, but we're just dating
Mhm.
it, as you would say right now. But we are gonna
Yeah.
update the logo a little bit. It's kind of a cool slight tweak, but it'll kind of modernize it a little bit. So anyways, good stuff
I
coming.
like it.
Random note, I got this hat. I think this was the hat I was wearing. So flipped backwards. Think last week we went to Rory's lacrosse games, 2 games back to back. Um, Overcast, but
Mhm.
sunny,
Yeah.
sunny-ish. And so I'm like, just hanging out with my hat on backwards. And you can guess based on my skin tone, I had a like U shape, sunburn like on the
Yes.
bottom, like the white on the where the band is, and then just like the half moon crescent shape. And I just did not know it until I got back later that
Oh,
night. I had my hat off, and the kid's like, "What is on your face?"
it's like a little
Rory's like, "I
window.
thought you, like, slept weird, or I thought you put your face, like, onto something." He's like, "Now that I see the hat," he's like so I had the
It's not
following
going
day,
away.
I had to go with clients to see a house, like, multiple houses, and some
No.
of these were, like, agent accompanied, and I was like, normally, I don't wear a hat for that stuff. Sometimes, like, I can pull off, like, a casual, nice hat, but, like, nice clothes and, feel kinda casual, but I had to do it last like,
Uh-huh.
because I was like, I can't just not I can't go into an agent like other agent the listing agents there. Like, I
Yeah.
can't go to this and have this huge red, like, half moon circle with the line. I was like but it's healing now, so that's good.
Okay.
I
It's
will
just
learn
peeling in
in the
this one
future that I
area
will
here.
yeah, I'll learn in the future to not put my hat on backwards if I have showings the following day, so,
Or you just throw
have
it on
that.
backwards again.
Yes, that's true, but then I was like, I can't that's not professional either, have a hat on
No.
backwards.
Yeah.
What else
Yeah,
in
you
my
gotta
world?
be
Oh, my parents were in town. My
yeah.
nephew got confirmed. If you're not familiar with Catholicism, it's their confirmation, one of the sacraments. So he got confirmed
Okay,
this weekend. My
nice.
parents were there.
Nice.
Had a golf tournament this weekend that I was part of. It wasn't anything big. It was
Ooh,
at Charbonneau, but
okay.
fun to play with people there.
Yeah.
And then we're going to Vegas. So we're gonna take
Vegas.
our nephew this weekend to Vegas, and so that
That's
should be
awesome.
fun. I'm gonna win a ton of money, and I'll let you know how it goes. I'll probably fly
Yeah.
the private jet back, once I
DJ.
win that amount of money,
Yeah.
starting with $20. Joe
Good
Skipper
for
made
you. I'm
3,000,000.
jealous.
But no, I love Vegas. Some people hate Vegas. I absolutely love it, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's more of a family-oriented one, so
Yeah.
nothing inappropriate, Cody.
Nothing crazy.
Yeah, so
Oh, that'll be fun. I've only been
but it'll
down
be a
there
lot of
one
fun.
time.
I know, you said that. I just,
Yep.
like, we need to change that. We need to change
I
that.
know.
You
Yeah.
need to get down there with us.
I need to
So,
get down there. I'd love to
we go a
I'd love
lot,
to
and
go
it's
down
it
there, take my wife. She doesn't really have much interest in going down there, but I think it would be fun because I think in most people's heads, it's like just the
it's a
casinos
crazy yeah, and
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 crazy.
drinking and whatever,
Right.
and you really can curate it for whatever you're doing. Like I said, like, we're going with our
Yeah.
nephew and family and, you can go to nice dinners, you can go to nice shows, you don't even have
Mhm.
to, like, entertain any of that kinda
Right.
crazier life if you don't want to, and so it's
Yeah.
kinda that's why I like it. I think depending on who you go with, you can kind of cater the whole trip to, just having a good time in whatever you like to do, whether that's just nice restaurants or, nice shows or gambling or whatever you want.
Yeah.
So,
Well, who
anyways,
doesn't
that'll
like to
be
play a
fun.
little blackjack here and there, you know?
I'm gonna try some roulette. I'm gonna try some blackjack. Yeah, yeah.
I'll
Evan,
share
my
with
nephew, and
you off
I
the podcast a
oh,
roulette
okay,
strategy that was introduced to me.
okay. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm open to trying. I'm open to trying
Okay.
for sure. But, yeah, how are you? What's going on? What happened last week? What's in your personal
What
and
happened?
work-related life?
Honestly, not really a whole lot too crazy work-wise, just kinda keep plugging away at stuff. Been working on our first time homebuyer kinda packet class that we've been talking about doing, so
Yes.
doing some work on that.
Boom. Thank you for doing that. That is, like,
Yeah.
something I need to get on. So
Yeah. Yeah, just kinda plugging away, from the personal side, it's sports right now with kids. We're kind of in the middle of that. I know you're kind of always in the middle of it. We have seasons, so, like, spring and fall are our 2 kids that are playing
yeah,
sports right now. Our our
nice.
daughter, so she's 5, and we have not even introduced her yet to the fact that she could do certain sports if she wanted to, and so we're just gonna kinda probably ride that out a little bit
Dude, most
until
parents
she's
do that.
yeah, until
It's
she
so
says,
terrible because it's like, you would never for your first child, you'd be experiencing everything with them. You'd be like, "You need to
"Yes."
try this, you need to try" the last one, you're
Right?
like, "Yeah, you can wait till you're 17.
Yeah.
You don't need to play sports."
She'll get to a point where she's like, "Do I ever get to do anything, or do I just have to go to the boys' sports stuff?" "Oh, yeah,
Exactly.
you can. Yeah, what do you wanna
Oh,
do?"
yeah, yeah. You really want to? Like
Right?
Uh, so true and so sad. We even do it with
I know.
Cora. Like, it's like, we're like, "Ah, we don't want her to go on competitive right now. We gotta" and
Yeah.
Rory was like, "I wanna do this." We're like, "Okay, let's go all in." And
"Sure, we
Cora's like,
support
"You
you."
really wanna do it?" Like, that's a lot of sports.
Seriously.
So terrible, but anyways, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then just kind of we're in that beginning stage of 3 fairly decent projects at the house,
Oh,
all
wow. Oh, yeah,
outside
because 'cause you're building a
projects.
barn, right?
Yeah, so we're working on kind of the beginning stages of building the barn and then fencing off some part of the property, and then,
Nice.
we're gonna put in just an above ground pool and hot tub, so
Boom,
kind of,
baby.
like, have a little setup there, and then
Love it.
we are taking out a bunch of, like, bushes and old trees along the fence line and kind of by the house, and then just
Mhm.
planting arborvitae. I hear it called both ways. I don't know what the
I
proper
think you sound a little bougier if you say arborvitae because that's more
arborvitae.
rare. You're like,
Yeah,
arborvitae, and then it makes everyone else feel stupid when they're like, "I've been
right,
calling it arborvitae
right.
forever,"
Is it the how do you say
and
it?
I'm not gonna ask him because I'm too afraid.
Yes, yeah, right. So, yeah, just in the middle of that, trying to kind of balance that with the other stuff, but it's fun.
Nice.
I've been trying to get Eli, our oldest, more and more into and he's starting to want to do it more of just, like, using a chainsaw and using the
Yeah.
tractor and doing all these things that I think it's funny because as a kid, that was just what I grew up
Yeah,
doing,
you
and
knew
I
it.
did it at a
Yeah,
pretty young age, so I didn't think much about it. But then when you're the parent, it feels so much different of, like, is he old enough to do this? These are kind of,
for
like,
sure.
things that could easily kill him, and I don't wanna be stupid about it, but I also wanna introduce him to it. So, he's been having a blast because when we've been cutting up these trees and
Yeah.
big bushes, they're like I think they're rhododendron maybe? I don't remember, but they're huge, And so we're like cutting them all up, and he's just addicted to using the chainsaw right now and cutting
Yeah,
everything up. So
that's cool.
it's been fun. He told me the other day, he's like, because he's starting to get into working out a lot more too. He's wanting to kind of build some muscle, and
Yeah,
he's like, "Dude, my lats were sore from yesterday." And he's like, "I'm kind of starting to understand like how you can build muscle while you're working outside. So now I'm
yeah,
like even more excited to work on doing some of this stuff." I'm like,
that's
"Perfect.
great.
Bring it
That's
on."
awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
So,
you'll have to show us on a we're gonna do a remote podcast of your place when it's all done, and we'll just kinda
yeah, there we
show
go.
everyone your beautiful outside because 'cause you'll have a little farm,
Yes.
you'll have a little, Highland
Yeah.
cow.
We'll have the cows and
Yeah, it'll
horses
be
and
great.
goats and
You can show this
everything.
city boy some of your farm life.
Right? I'm I'm fighting this. My timelines for work projects are usually pretty skewed, where I'm like,
Yeah,
"That's gonna take me 2 weeks to do that," and then it's 2 months. So I've already, like, verbalized to my wife that all 3 of these projects are gonna be done this summer. So I'm kind of in that mode of, like, I gotta be getting on it while I can,
yeah, for sure.
which is fun. It's still early enough. I'm not burnt out on any of it yet, but I know there'll come a point where I'm like, "I don't wanna do anything."
I know. Yeah,
But
we
then
were
football
well,
season will be here, and we'll be good to go.
I know. Well, it was funny, like, we were just talking about this morning of, like, in this line of work, you can always be doing something, and it's
Yeah.
very difficult to not be doing something work related. And I was like thinking about it today. I was like, I could go take the dog for a walk at 1 in the afternoon, but I never feel like I can. Like
Right. Yeah.
it takes actual hard effort to do something personal, when you're running your
Uh-huh.
own business, and it can really wear
Yeah.
you out. But I don't know why we're going down this rabbit hole, but like your projects, it's like you could set time for your projects and work
Yep.
around the work, but
Yep.
you don't, and you don't and you generally are like, "I could be
Right.
doing this work-related thing," and it's just crazy. Like, that's
I
like, I
know.
think the unknown about running your own shop or doing your work like this is that you could be doing even proactive stuff that you're like, "Oh, I could be doing that." Like,
Yep.
why do I need to
It's
be working
tough.
on my barn when I could be doing
Huh?
that, so
It's
you
hard.
feel
It's
lazy
hard
in
because
either way. You're either lazy in your personal life or you're lazy in your work life,
yep.
and it's
It's,
like it seesaws back and forth, you know?
yeah. It's a tough balance for sure because I'll have that too, and, like, my wife will bring it up. She's like, "Why don't you just take a day off and do, the projects that you're not able to do on the weekend or this one thing?" And I'm like in my head, I'm like, "I can't because those are my work hours." Like,
Yeah,
if I
but you
don't
can.
do that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's kinda like the FOMO almost of,
yeah,
like, what am I
for
gonna
sure,
be falling behind on, or what could
for
I
sure.
miss, and it's not as if I don't have my phone with me. So it's like,
I
I'm not
know,
gonna miss calls. I've got my computer at home. I have all these things. I could stop what I'm doing and
for
go,
sure.
do it, but it's that mental block of, like, "No, I'm supposed to be working, and so, therefore, I need to go to
I
work."
know.
But
I was thinking the same. I was like, okay, even if someone needed something in like getting back to them in an hour or two is not the end of the world. I wouldn't
right.
expect anyone like it's not
Yes.
like you're getting a cancer diagnosis. It's like you're
Right.
literally had a question about like this house that just came on the market. I just it's so funny because you always feel like, yeah, kind of a FOMO, kind of like, okay, I don't want to not help them, not
Right.
but then you're just not doing any like you just get into it's not even a rut. It's just to get into a habit of doing work all the time.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyways, maybe I'll walk the dog today. Maybe that's what I'm gonna
Yeah.
do instead
There you
of do
go.
real estate.
Right? I thought
But
about that the other day too, because 'cause I'm
on
like,
the pro go ahead.
I've been trying to incorporate walking a little bit more, just as a
Yeah,
general, try to get in a certain amount of
because 'cause you're
steps, and
becoming an old man, you know?
I'm an old man, and, yeah, and I was like, I've been saying this for a long time. All it would take is me taking a 10-minute break and
I
going
know,
and walking around the
I know.
block a few times, 2
Yep,
or 3 times a day, and I could achieve what I want to achieve. But even with that, I'm like, "Well, I don't have time to go do that because I need to do these things," and
for sure. Even the meatheads I
it's
follow on, like, social media that they're like, "Dude, like, 10 minutes, like, after you eat
yeah,
breakfast or 10 minutes after you eat lunch and 10 minutes after dinner. That's
uh-huh,
it." And you're like,
yeah.
"No, I can't do that. I
There's
gotta
yeah,
fit
there's
that
not
in.
enough time.
How do I fit that in?"
Yeah, that's crazy talk.
But yeah, it is insane. But anyways, speaking of working proactively and doing too much, but this is actually fun. Is we said it in our live stream this other day, the sellers net sheet that we're doing. So a
Yeah,
lot of like we wanted to make a kind of something super easy for sellers to kind of see them what they're gonna net when they sell a home. So we made a calculator basically that's fully adjustable to say, if you sell for this, you owe this much, you're paying the buyer's agent this, you're paying the seller's agent this, whatever that may be, you're giving concessions of this, your property taxes are this, when you're gonna close, and it basically pumps out a number for you that's fully adjustable. If you're like, okay, well, if we sell it for 10K more, what does that do? And so yeah, so we're just working on that. That should be coming out here soon. So if you're interested in it, let me know. But yeah, we wanted something that could provide we can do that. Like we've got apps and stuff that can do that. But I was like, I think as a seller, I'd want to just be able to play with that myself. And I'm sure there's stuff
Mhm.
on Google or whatever, but I feel like
Yeah.
we want to just have it in house so that people can kind of all be able we can be a one-stop shop for that. So that's coming out
Yeah. Nice.
pretty soon.
That's
Yeah,
awesome. Well, and I
I
feel
know.
like that
I'm excited about it.
there's some people that are like, "No, I'm gonna leave that to you. You're the professional. I don't wanna type in the wrong stuff." But I think in general, most people, myself included, it's nice to have those resources just to kinda play around with it, just to get an idea. Because otherwise it's like, "Man, I
For
don't know
sure.
how much it costs, all the fees and closing costs and everything that goes into it." So it's like such a
For sure.
shot in the dark. So it's kinda nice to have that as a resource to go, "Alright, cool. This at least gives me a general idea." My
For sure.
numbers might not be correct here, but at least I'm probably within, say, $10,000,
Yeah. And I
maybe.
think, like, that's the same thing in mortgage calculator. I think people use those all the
Yeah.
time to kinda get general data. So, the net proceeds, I was like, "Okay, that's kinda cool." And
Yeah.
we can do that. So, now that I'm thinking about that, I'm thinking about doing a comparison, like, if you get multiple offers, you know?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, and you can kinda calculate that.
Huh,
I'm writing it down right now.
I
Sorry.
like it.
You're like, "We're recording, so
Yeah.
you need
This is
to pay
live.
attention." But, yeah, so that's coming out. But anyways, what sort of real estate stuff you got for us, man?
Well, I was gonna see, we've talked about, like, different things that people look for on inspections and appraisals and what comes up. Is there anything you can think of off the top of your head from, like, crazy experience or things that came up in an inspection or maybe in an appraisal to where you're like, "Whoa, I was not expecting that," or, I have one in my mind that just fairly recently happened, so that's kinda what sparked it me, but I was curious, I don't know how much you see from probably not so much from the appraisal side, but maybe the inspection side of,
Yeah.
like, a random thing that just pops up and
Yeah,
maybe
that's
killed the deal.
interesting. Now that you're saying that, I have a pretty boring inspection history. Like, I feel like with
Yeah.
how long I've been doing it, I should have something that's like, yeah, we found a dead body,
Right?
like in the crawl space. Like,
Yeah.
and like, but I don't have anything. But speaking of dead bodies, actually, we had, I was showing a property. No, I was showing a property to someone outside of Amity, and we were walking around the property and just kind of getting a feel for, what it had. Location was kind of tear down and build back up. But we found a grave. Like
No
there's a
way.
tombstone and a grave
What?
on the property, just one. Yeah.
Boy.
So, anyways, it was a family owned property, and they buried, I think, grandma or whatever there. So we didn't end up
Yikes.
making an offer on it, but it was just really unique. Like
Yeah.
that, I guess, is unique. Is like, is that like a tombstone? Yeah.
That's
So yeah,
somebody's under that ground.
yeah, isn't that crazy?
Wow.
So I
That's
guess it is
crazy. That
crazier than I
counts.
thought, but yeah, I think that counts.
Yeah.
Wasn't during an inspection, but definitely a weird one for sure. But yeah, I haven't
Yeah.
had anything. You have the regular stuff, the mold, the rodents, all that
Yeah.
stuff in crawl space and attic, but nothing crazy besides a dead body?
No, yeah, no family of possums under the house or anything.
No, like I wish I had something cool. Like
Yeah.
we do a lot of rural properties, but not maybe if you were someone that's solely focused on, like, farms and things
Sure.
like that, maybe you'd find some more critter type things or stories like that, but
Yeah.
nothing crazy. Underground storage
Yeah.
tanks, those sort of random things, but nothing crazy. But what about appraisers? I haven't even had bad appraisal stuff. Knock on wood, I think out of the entire time that we have sold and bought homes, we've had only one appraisal come in low,
Oh, that's
and
great.
it got rectified.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't even have
That's really good.
cool appraisal stories. Do you have any?
Wow. I have
You're like, "Yeah, I absolutely do."
yeah. I mean, I've had some where I had one crazy appraisal one where nothing property related necessarily, but the appraisal came in $50,000 under the purchase price. And I don't remember what year this was. This might have been pre-COVID and came in 50,000 under. Didn't make sense to anyone. We tried to kind of fight it and we just couldn't get anywhere. And we couldn't just order a new one because there was nothing that was blatantly bad about the appraisal. So, as a lender, I can order a new appraisal if we can prove that the existing appraisal was bad. Like, you gotta be able to find certain things that are just like, "This appraiser essentially is incompetent, like, they
Mhm.
missed this, they didn't do this," like, and then they can say, "Okay, yes, let's get a new one." But if you can't prove that and you just wanna get a new one because of the number, well, you really can't because then
Yeah.
you're just paying for somebody else to try to give you a better number. So,
Yeah.
this person, had to go to a different lender because I couldn't just order a new appraisal. She did, she went to them, and the appraisal came in at the purchase price. So $50,000 swing in appraised value between 2 different appraisers, which obviously
My
is maddening for me because it's,
absolutely.
like, out of our control, I can't really do anything, but how in the world do you have 2 different appraisers that can
That's
appraise
a
it that
huge gap.
drastically different? So, that's not a super common thing, but that was one that that stuck with me a little bit because I'm like, "Man, that sucks." Like, I missed out on that opportunity because this
Yeah.
appraiser apparently was trying to do whatever, but I had one just
I
recently.
yeah.
It wasn't an appraisal, it was a inspection related item. They did not get a we might have actually talked about this one. They got a septic inspection because they had to,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
and the seller was told when she bought the house that it was a new septic tank, and turns out it was not a new septic tank. The whole thing was, like, rotted out. It was steel, and so it was
Really?
just rusting, and the guy
So
that
she,
was
like,
doing the
lied
septic.
about it.
Yeah, she got lied to, so she was like, "I haven't pumped it. We haven't had any issues, and it was new to me when I bought it," and turns out the guy that does the inspection is like, "I have to, like, it is not safe for me to not take this thing
Yeah.
out, whether you want me to or not, I feel like I have to," and it was just completely rotted out, so that type of stuff I don't feel like happens very often, but it does make you wonder, like, after a certain amount of time, is there a point where the seller, like the little seller disclosures that state, what they do and don't know about the property? I wonder if there's a window of time where they could go back to that seller and say, "Hey, you gave me bad information
Yeah,
and now I
yeah.
had to do this." Like if there's any
Yeah, I'm sure
recourse or
there's
if it's just kind of
ramifications
like,
for that.
yeah,
I
but
think
to
it's
not
hard
find
to
it out until
prove.
20
Yeah.
years later is
I
tough.
know. It's hard to prove. I think if it was super recent, like, you just bought the house 2 years later, you're selling it, and that original buyer said it was new, there's ramifications for that, but, yeah, it's tough. Like, it's always a he said, she said, or I didn't know, or
Right.
how are you gonna prove that?
Yeah.
You could, but then it's gonna cost thousands in attorney
Sure.
fees and things like that, so, yeah.
Uh-huh.
But, I've always thought this, and I think I've mentioned it before to you, is appraisals. Like, it
Mhm.
always comes in asking, like,
Yep.
and it's fine. As a representing the buyer, it's, like, great.
Sure.
But it's like or I don't know if it's worse or better, but it's like, okay, the house is, we paid $500,000 for the house, and they're like, "It's worth $501,343." I'm like,
Yes.
"Okay, where is the $1,343? Like, where did
Right.
you, like, meticulously go through and say, 'Hey, it's worth
Uh-huh.
just this much more?'" It's
Right.
a funny thing, and I always I'm not knocking appraisers, and there are good ones and bad ones, probably just like any industry, but I'm like, $50,000 gap, it's a luck of the draw of what appraiser, and there are lazy appraisers that are like, "Yeah, what are you paying for it? Yeah, that's good." Like, and there's ones that don't. So, you
Yeah.
still with us?
I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's, some that are good, some that are not, and it just 50 that would frustrate me beyond belief because
Yeah.
I know that there's way more work that goes into an appraisal than I know of, but I always
Right.
tend to overgeneralize and be like, "Yeah, they're just looking at the offer price," and,
Uh-huh.
like and I know they're
Well,
doing
yeah,
more, I just, like, depending on what side I'm on, I'm, like, really pro appraiser and really
I
against it
know.
if I'm, against it, so,
Yeah,
anyway.
and I'd love to have an appraiser on. That would be kind of a cool thing.
Yeah, it would be,
I don't know that they could maybe be as straightforward as what everybody would like,
for sure.
but I would love to know if some of it is just essentially justifying the price
The price versus,
because
like, actually finding out what the home's worth,
yeah,
That
because
makes
I
sense.
had one clients bought a year, maybe year and a half ago, and he got a job change, so he had to move, and so before they moved, they refinanced, and the refinance appraisal. So on a refinance, they don't know any of the numbers. They're just told, go
Okay.
out and appraise this home. On a purchase,
Yeah.
they get a copy of the contract. So they know the purchase price. They know if the seller's kicking in any credits or anything like that. His appraisal, and keep in mind, this is in the market that we're in. Refinance happened just towards the end of last year. I want to say it was maybe middle of the year. So the market's not like booming or anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they went in with down payment assistance, so essentially no equity to start with. And they had, I want to say that appraisal came in close to $45,000 higher in just a matter of a year,
Wow.
$1,000 home, which
Wow.
was just crazy. I
Yeah.
don't know. And again, that was a refi. So maybe on the purchase, it was just like, okay, we'll just justify the price. Even though the comps might say it's higher, we're not going to appraise this thing for 415. We're just going to appraise it for 395 because that's what the price,
Yeah.
that's what everybody needs to move forward. Because I do know, and I have heard that some appraisers are, they're not trying to inflate the market. So I think that's part of the reason why we
For
don't
sure.
see too many that come in higher,
Yeah.
even though I don't know that an appraised value has any type of stamp on it's all
I
sold, right? So, but I don't know. It's
But
always
I but
interesting
it
to me because
to me, I'm like, it should be what it is. Whether it's
yes,
like whether it was a $500,000 house and they were just wrong on what they offered and it's worth 600,000,
yeah,
tough. Like I
right,
just, but maybe it is. Maybe I'm not, we don't I don't personally know enough about it. But if you're listening and you're an appraiser, you should come on the show and talk to us about it
yeah,
because we'd love to hear like kind of what your thoughts are on it and the goods and the bads of that industry and kind of see what you say about it. So if you're on,
yeah. I'd
don't
love to have that
comment,
because I
complain. Don't
right,
comment to complain. Comment to get on, and then you can complain to us in person.
yeah. You can tell us how dumb we are because
Yeah,
we're
and how stupid we are, because
I'll
I
accept
could be
that.
very well just stupid. So,
Yeah, same here.
yeah. So that's the crazy we've been talking way too long. I don't wanna go too much farther because we've been talking already too long. That's the problem with us is
That's
we
what
get
we
into
do.
blab, and we have this plan of, like, let's give a ton of good information, and then I blab
Yeah.
about whatever I blab my forehead sunburn for 25 minutes. So,
Well,
anyways.
that is important though. When you're lacking the hair, we
I
only have so
know.
many options.
I know, I know. I see these kids nowadays with all their luxurious locks, and thick broccoli heads, and I'm like, oh man, I wish I had that.
Right?
So,
It is all they care
um,
about.
I know. Any final words? Anything you got for us before we head into the weekend?
Just looking forward to some nice weather.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah,
But
just
it's raining
enjoying.
currently, but it
It
should
is.
be
It's no
starting to become
no
spring
bueno.
again.
Yeah, yeah. No, really, I mean, from a work standpoint, just trying to kinda keep pushing things out there, working on doing more classes, our first time homebuyer class, kind of like revamping some of the marketing stuff here. So it's kind of more of the behind the scenes type of
Yeah,
planning stuff. So just
nice
trying to deep dive into that, kind of like talking about our work life balance. That's another one of those balances that's hard for me because I don't feel like when I'm working on that stuff, it doesn't feel super productive,
for
even
sure.
though I know I have to do it
It
in
will
order to
be,
get to
yeah,
this
and
next
it will
stage.
be productive. But yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't feel right necessarily. Yeah,
Yeah. So I tend to put that stuff off. So I'm trying to kind of like focus this week on just nailing a lot of that little stuff that's not time sensitive, but I know if I just keep kicking it down the road, it's never
yeah,
gonna get done. So
for sure.
yeah. How about
Yeah,
you? You're going to Vegas.
yes, yes, going to Vegas this weekend. But yeah, doing the same things, kind of back end stuff, the calculators and those sort of things to kind of help clients. We're doing, obviously our logo and our name change is kind of a big on the forefront of our minds because that I think we have until next year, but it's like might as well, you if you start buying marketing stuff and buying all this like trinkety stuff with your name on it, it's like you might as well just get it now because
Yeah.
I don't want to be bumping up in the timeline and we have an overstock of old named gear. So
Right.
anyways, working on that and yeah, just the lacrosse, dance, soccer. I got to coach Cora's soccer last week, fill in for
Oh,
Evan, who's
nice.
their coach normally in spring, and it was good. I had a friend randomly, she was up with her um uh what am I trying to say? She was up watching another game and she's
Uh-huh.
like, I heard you yelling. Like I heard you yelling at Cora and I recognized it was you. I was like, nice. But
Yes.
yeah, Cora
It's a
takes
it's a
a
sign of a good
Cora
coach.
Yeah, Cora takes a good yelling from her dad, but I push her pretty hard, but she's definitely more sensitive than Rory is about it all, so I
Yeah,
have to monitor that for a 9-year-old
right.
old soccer game that I have
Yeah,
to win. But, like
right. You're
but yeah,
like, this is me as a coach. This is me not as
I
dad.
know.
So
I
gotta
know.
take it.
She still doesn't get that, and Rory has
Uh-huh.
to remind her, he's like, "Cora, dad did this to me ever since I started,
Right.
and, like, this is just what it is, like, he wants the
Yeah.
best," and, so not
Yeah.
to give me an
Eventually you'll just
excuse for
stop listening
screaming
to
at a
him.
9-year-old, but, like, yeah, exactly, exactly, or he's just like, "Just ignore it, look over at him, nod your head, and just, like,
Yeah.
move on." So, but yeah, so
I
that's it,
love it.
man. Just the regular routine. But yeah, if you guys
Nice.
haven't already, subscribe and like to Venture with Joe and Cody. Head to our YouTubes and social media. And if you guys have any questions or issues with loans or selling or buying, let us know. We'd be happy to help you with it and even just answer questions for you. So we're here to
That's
help.
right.
So
We are
good
here.
to talk to you, man. And
Hey,
until
you too.
next time,
Enjoy your trip.
yeah, thank you. We'll talk soon.
All right, man. Sounds good.
See ya.
See ya.